well, but his tape isn't working. He talks. These are the things we ran into peep show box.
Yeah.
You put the headphones on, press the button.
Is that working?
That one is working. That one, the motor isn't working. This one, they've just been through a very punishing time up in at the South Bank. But what you do is you put the headphones on. This one you put the headphones on, press the green button, and pull the beer pulls. That's very funny. This one you try and get your hand in the puppets. And this one you put your fingers in there and look through there, but that's the one that's the motor has stopped working on the back. But that's what you. Anyway, you can do that later on. This is Eagle from a version of Frankenstein we did, which was worn. This acrobat wore it, and then he'd literally suddenly swing out and go shinning up a rope and leap around the place. And he could see out through the grill up here.
Oh, I see.
I was wondering how you knew. I knew him.
Walked this onto the stage of Shakespeare Theatre.
This is Dolly the Parrot. So it was a combination of. She was a combination of manually operated, very, very obviously manually operated by Ed.
Yeah.
And he ventriloquised.
Oh, that is cool.
And then suddenly she worked on her own.
We're doing animation at the moment as one of our units.
This is the rabbit who we wore. And you had to keep. You had this attached to your chin. So as you walked around, you would go like that. But he was a chain-smoking ex-lab rat. It was kind of care in the community. You could buy them in the slave market.
Yeah.
They're always quite surreal.
Yeah.
Great. They're really great stories. Yeah, the horse is one of Kenny's masterpieces. You can actually ride it as well. It's strong enough to take someone. But we had it in the exhibition, but we wanted kids to be able to sit on it and have their photographs taken, but they wouldn't allow us. They're a bit dangerous because if they fell off.
Yeah. Healthy and safe.
Then some of them managed to get on. Some of them did
With
get
an
on
invigilator
without-
going, you mustn't.
But she was in a.
It even sounds like a horse, doesn't it?
Yeah, really cool. Yeah, she was in a couple of shows. Terribly realistic, isn't she?
Yeah.
The Crow was worn as well. That was quite good. That came out of that. I showed you that painting of the Serious League. Yeah. Well, that was one of the kind of mutated creatures that came out of it. Yeah, some of it got to the exhibition. Put the headphones on. We're in these were in the hall of the House of Usherettes, and they stood on either side. You'll see it in the comic, and we've got a film version of it as well.
So is it that one and
that one? They stood on either side, and then at the very end of the show, people forgot that they were.
Yeah.
That's something we're in the middle of filming right now. It's for Tim to come through from inside a pliosaur's stomach, isn't it?
Yeah, you know what a pliosaur is? It's a prehistoric sort of monster, shark, huge. It's about 40 metres long. They found one on the Jurassic coast. And,
So all the stuff in here you built from scratch?
yeah. Yeah, absolutely everything. And we all build things, but Penny's the real genius
Yeah.
at making things. So that was Mammon, you know, the god of money up there, the middle one, and she made a huge teddy bear for another show once.
Oh, that's cool.
And
Well, some of this is actually stuff that I'm wanting to get into, actually creating stuff.
creating 3D
Yeah.
building things
Yeah.
as well. Wonderful.
Something
So you
that
don't want to become a skeleton.
No,
operator
I'm
in a
actually
3D
I'm actually
virtual-
wanting
you
to
want
build stuff.
Actually work well, because then you can create stuff for your own
Yeah.
things, can't you? But that's funny enough, is our archive. So when we get, you know, when we have to start digging out things,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
we have all this stuff going right back to the 1970s. We've always meant to write a book. Somehow you never get round to it. But we might do. This was Frankenstein's. This was a finger. Frankenstein, the monster, was sitting there sewing the finger for his mate. And this was a griffin. And, that was a griffin's head.
Fantastic stuff.
it is.
I think this is a space that's really interesting. I think
Yeah.
this would be like a great platform for the actual level where you explore all the way through, and maybe sort of like adding some virtual doors that people then can enter into your particular installations and stuff. I think
It's easy to dress it. You know, we've got big screens. We've got lots of
Oh, that is awesome.
I like, you know, it feels lived in and used, you know what I mean? I like the way it is. I think a little Halloween installation in my hallway with this.
Have you seen this?
He's missing a hand.
Oh, is he? Yeah. Really just making some new hands.
I'm sure it must be just around.
Have you come and meet Miss Moody? If you have to go shake her hand.
pressure pads.
Yeah, pressure pads.
Oh, that is cool.
That's brilliant.
Oh, that'd be creepy if someone didn't.
We were often thinking of going into burglar deterrents. You know, you could probably make a fortune making really weird, terrifying.
Do you remember that thing that Bob showed us about the Sistine Chapel? You know, the 360 panoramic that you
Yeah.
go around, you can really sort of zoom into all the areas. We could do something like that, where you can actually sort of just
I
work
think,
your way through the whole area.
Little character from Barbara's of Surreal.
How do you set him up? How do you set him up? Okay.
Well, you see
We
it all.
we didn't end up going over to Swanage because you guys sort of said that it wasn't sort of your typical stuff. Is it worth going over?
Well, I mean, yes, it is. What? I didn't say it wasn't typical.
Said it wasn't representative.
It's just one part of. And I knew you were coming today anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you could see peep shows.
You must go down there because you're very close. If
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have a day out in Swanage in the summer,
Yeah, we like
you
Swanage.
know,
They're awesome.
go up to
Go to Carnival
Durlston
every year.
Castle, and there are 3 interactive boxes.
Like those.
Like
over there.
those, but
Okay.
slightly. One of them is very similar to them, but they were specially made for them. Yeah. And where else? The other places, if you ever go through Lyme Regis.
Is that from the SRL?
Yeah, he's from there, right? He is. They were the 2 statues on either side of it.
I mean, that comic book actually is basically the script.
Yeah.
So you read that and you know the show.
We could give you a. We should give you a.
Well, any material you could give us.
And maybe an usherette. Yeah. And then you can. At least you got them on DVD. You can whiz fast
great.
forward.
Yeah.
Backward, you know, but you'll pick up some ideas from it. You pick up sort of atmosphere of the
Yeah.
whole show.
And also the trickery, that's the main thing. I want to get your trickery in.
And I'm wanting to get into the illusions as well, because that'll.
And we can go into some of these wonderful books that we've got about early magic and illusion anyway, and sort of explore by doing. We can do certain sort of like diagrammatic drawings, can't we? So some of them slightly spoofed, and some of them. Whoever it was.
Kind of a suit. That was the one I played a Jack the Ripper sort of one like that, but it was with newspapers, and it was rather interesting.
Educational,
Well,
isn't it?
another element as well is that you could use the functionality of a wiki is that it's crowdsourced, that everyone puts stuff up there. So we could find a way of including a way where that you can't solve it on your own. You need other people, so everyone needs to contribute and go onto the wiki and
Well, that's quite
share the clues
wiki,
sort of thing.
Wiki source code is now available.
Well, yeah,
You can make your own.
could
So.
create a wiki for it, which.
How do I'm sorry, I'm just putting spanners in the works here because I'm thinking with my BBC hat.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to
No, but interactivity at that level means that they can't keep their.
Oh yeah,
they
because
haven't
if
got
it's
control of it,
wiki
do they?
based, other people have.
Well, no,
haven't
but
got
it's still
control.
hosted. BBC would still host
It'd
it.
still be hosted within their server.
No, but they wouldn't like that.
No, they wouldn't.
They wouldn't like that.
So the wiki.
I mean, I think it's a great idea, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying they'll say no
Why would they say no?
because they
it'd be
couldn't
user,
control
the user, it'd be user content.
the content.
You must
Okay, I
remember.
see.
the
I
other
see.
thing
Yeah,
that
they
comes
don't
out
want anyone just.
It can't be
running it.
monitored. Well, it can be
Once
monitored.
the
It
Yeah,
can't
but-
be.
once the contract
you know.
with BBC
Yeah,
is
I know
over,
what you mean.
it becomes ours. So, and well, you know, any of the kind of annoying little details like that with the BBC
Could be something
can
you
be
work on
something
after
that in
a
6
while.
months' time we
Yeah.
can probably say to the BBC, right, we can have it. It belongs to us
Yeah.
in the end.
Oh,
and then
after-
we'll put it up, and from then on it becomes the most
It's for the,
November.
it's for the summer, isn't it?
in the
That's
world,
the
and we all
understanding.
have
Officially closes.
You know, we can do with it what we want.
With in terms of them trying to push it, how are they going about sort of?
That's a very
getting
good
people
idea.
To sort of go
A
into
very
it?
good question, and they couldn't quite answer that themselves, really, how they're pushing it. And so far, they said within 10 days they were going to send us some bump about, you know, publicity and how one could, you know, advertise
Yeah.
it. And they
'Cause
haven't
out of all
come up with anything yet.
Well, out of every company in the UK, the BBC's the one sort of people who could really sort of push whatever they
know.
want to. So
I know.
it's
And
just
they-
interesting how they're actually going to go about it.
It is extremely interesting, and it's to be announced.
Yeah.
So,
Proper pain in the arse, isn't it?
well, it's probably not entirely their fault because they probably didn't quite realise what they were saying yes to when they agreed to.
Well, when they take on a company like Forkbeards,
Well, it's not. It's not just us. It's just artists. And they probably said yes to the Arts Council without thinking it through in certain respects.
Yes.
And now it's all being thought through now. But it's looking good for us, though.
Yeah.
As long as we kind of stop ourselves from saying Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Because I know they won't go to that.
No, and I understand as well, because that would mean someone would have to be constantly monitoring it.
Absolutely, and taking stuff off his legs.
Yeah.
Things
It's such
wouldn't be
interesting.
clear.
This is the thing. You never get to see this kind of thing. Like, we're really lucky. We've got to see
Liam
this,
mentioned
like,
that
if
you
you're a
also
member of
created
the
the
public,
bacon
you've seen
show.
shows. You don't
For
get to
the-
see
I
this.
Okay.
Nice to
Well,
see
I
that
mean,
come
you know,
from
obviously I don't. I just created that for just for the moment. It wasn't really. Yeah, we can. So it's on a 45-day trial at the moment.
It's like little things like that, like the horse that you've got there. Like we could do it in a way where they could actually animate a horse on there.
So I
might
might
just
make
be a
you,
really nice touch.
I feel like you can have full strings.
That's it, yeah, and they just
Because I worked with John Teal, he's a bell ringer, and I worked with John Teal doing kind of an animated bell ringing thing, so that was quite easy to
make it in your cursor
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah,
Find the right part of the road.
everyone is kept in the loop.
And then if you were working on an iPad or something like that, we could do it in a way where they're just rubbing their fingers up and down sort of thing, and it's all.
The thing is with HTML5,
Oh, is that some material from